Hello everyone and welcome to the channel AlleywayAccess. We are here today with NMAP Basics. It's our first tool talk episode as well as the first episode going up on the channel. So thank you everybody for being here. Mefore we get into the actual CLI working with NMAP, let's just talk about what even is this thing. Now, NMAP is a network mapper, okay? Short and simple. Now, I don't want to get too into the theoretical part of things because I just want to get to the CLI, show you guys some commands so you can get started. But you're going to be using this thing a lot, whether you're just doing CTFs, whether you're going to be doing it engagements. This will help you a ton when you're trying to scan targets, map your network, look for open services, open ports, all that kind of stuff. Yeah, it's basically a hacker, a penetration tester's multi-tool. It's a dream tool. It's been around for a very, very long time. And if you guys want to read a little bit more into it, I'll try to put some stuff in the description that you can go read. You can go check it out. But in terms of theory, that's all I'm going to tell y'all, okay? Network mapper used to scan targets, their ports, see what's open, see what we can, go attack a little bit. Now let's see how we do that. Let's hop in. Here we are in our Cali Linux CLI. So I should say before we get into it, if you guys are unfamiliar with Cali Linux, if you're unfamiliar with just spinning up virtual machines, tons of great free resources online to get you up and running. That's what I did. I just looked up a ton of stuff and then set it all up. If you need me to make a video on it down the line, I absolutely will. But we are going to focus on just the tool today because this is our tool talk episode, right? So before we start any of these demos, I gotta let you guys know we have a second VM running, and that is our Metasploitable machine. Now, all you guys need to know at this point is Metasploitable machines. They're VMs that are purposefully vulnerable. So it's exactly for what we're doing. They just are vulnerable. They have tons of holes in them so that we can take advantage of it. We can practice our exploits, practice some hacking stuff. But today, we're just gonna be scanning. Now, let me put in an IF config for you guys, and we can see here the IP address of our virtual machine. So the 192.168.22.135, that is the target that we're going to be running all our scans against. Okay, so let me switch back to our Cali Linux VM and we'll get to using NMAP. Okay, let's get right in it. Before we get into any port scanning, we need to see what hosts are in our network right now. You guys already know that we have a Metasploitable machine running in this network, but how did we figure that out? We cheated, right? We went to the machine, we flipped over and we said, okay, he's up and running. But what if we didn't know that? What if we didn't have the capabilities to do that, like you often won't, okay? You can use NMAP to scan the network for you. So first, let me show you this over here. Sudo nmap-h and then grep sn. Y'all don't need to know what this means. H is for the help command, the help screen, and then grep sn just means to pick from the output only where sn is included. And the reason I did this is because -sn right here, disable port scan. So this is very useful when you're doing network scans and you don't care about the open ports just yet. You only want to see which hosts are alive, right? Which is what we're doing right now. So let's clear that and let's put in this. If we want to scan our entire subnet right now, we can just put in sudo nmap. Okay, this is how you call the tool. Then our IP address 192.168.22.131. Okay, this is our local IP address. And then inside our notation /24. So if you guys know your networking, this will just do a scan for anything in the 22 subnet. So it'll go through from here all the way, check every single host, be like, yo, are you alive? Are you not alive? What's going on, right? And then we got to add our -sn as we just saw in the help screen. So when we do this, bang, okay, we get a huge output really, really, really fast. Now, VMware adds a bunch of its own addresses in here for its own running, make sure the process is all working properly. But all we care about right here is our 135. So that's how you can see that, oh, our host is indeed alive, okay? Now let's clear that and get into the actual basic port scanning. Now, NMAP has a couple types of scans that it can perform. A SYN scan, an ACK scan, they can do TCP, UDP, all that kind of stuff. I'm not going to get into that today. I feel like that kind of reaches into the more advanced stuff, or maybe intermediate at least, and I'm not a professional with it just yet. So we're going to keep it basic, and we're just going to do the regular default scan. But if you guys are interested, all you have to do is either sudo and then nmap-h and read about it, or just hop on Google. I'll see if I can put some links like I said earlier, and then you guys can go do your own research. But let's do just a basic port scan, okay? It looks exactly like this, nmap, or we can do sudo nmap for continuity's sake. And then our IP address, 192.168.22.135, okay? You wanna know what else? Nothing. For a basic port scan, that's all you gotta do. So if we hit enter now, it'll go super quick, super fast. All this starts coming up. Now, what are we looking at right now? If you guys have never used nmap before, it may look a little bit intimidating, but it's actually amazingly simple, okay? If we look here, it says our scan report for the IP address, just like we saw earlier. Then every single port, its state, and its service, okay? So nmap went in and checked every port. I'll tell you what every port actually means. Picture some quotation marks. And tells you, okay, on port 21, we see FTPs working, okay? 22 SSH. Now, these are all the default ports for it, basically what you'd expect, you know, port 80 for your HTTP, and then all this kind of stuff going down. Now, this is a great start, but we can get a little bit better, okay? So just remember, for a basic port scan, bare bones, all you need is sudo nmap, and then the IP target, okay? That's it. Let's get a little bit more fancy. Clear? Now, how can we make this fancier, you know, a little bit cooler? Before we actually make it more intense, I'm gonna just show you guys something. So before, how I said it scans all ports and tells you what's going on, it doesn't actually. So when you have just the bare bones, no specified ports, nmap will scan the top 1,000 most common ports. So it's not gonna go from 1 to 1,000, but it'll scan the top 1,000 most common. Now, I don't have them memorized, of course, but you can expect to see the port 80s, 22s, 21s, all those kind of stuff where services often run and they're most commonly found will be scanned. This does mean ports can be missed, okay? If you guys know your stuff, I believe there's like 65,300 something, 65, 35, a ton of ports, okay? And 1,000 ports is not gonna cover all of that. So if you wanted to cover all ports, you can do your target. I'm just going to put target here, so because I'm not actually going to run the scan. If you put -p-, it'll scan all 65,000 whatever of those ports. It won't skip a single thing, okay? So just remember that. Now also, if we remove this last dash, and then if we want to put in like 21, 30, whatever, then it'll scan only the specified ports. So actually, if we do this one side, and then 22, I guess I should put the actual target in if we're going to run this. 192.168.22.135. Bang. So see this one? So much more concise, right? All you see is SSH because it only scanned SSH. If you wanted to scan only .1 and maybe port 80. Oh, there we go. I forgot the comma. My bad. There you go. See, then it'll only scan those two. Okay? So just remember, if you want to do all of them, it's a -p-. If you want to do specified, it's -p and then your number, right? You can do as many as you want, really. So it helps with speed because if it doesn't have to scan all those ports, it can get it done much quicker, okay? Now, like I said, let's get a little bit crazy with it, okay? We've already scanned the ports, but that's not enough information to get us in. Well, sometimes it is, but we're going to need a little bit more, okay? So the first thing we can do is start service enumeration. Now, if we remember, I can just run a quick one just to show y'all again because it was really fast. So when we look here, we can see telnet, SMTP, HTTP, all that kind of stuff is great to know, but there's a million versions of all those kind of services, right? They've been updated for how long? You know, it's just like a phone. You need to know if the phone's running on iOS 3 or iOS 17, right? You can do the same thing with nmap. So if you ran a sudo nmap, I'll do it on just one port for today, 192.168.22.135. And then we did -p, let's just do 80, for example. And then added a -s capital V, okay? Just like this. It will do our service version detection. So if we run this now, let's see what it gets. It will take a little bit longer. Boom. So right here, look at the difference. If we scroll up here, we got only HTTP on port 80. Now we see HTTP plus the version that it's running, the exact service version. Now, I haven't done the background research because we're not exploiting today, but I'm sure you can go do some research, look it up, look at some exploits, and find something for this version of Apache HTTP, okay? So that's the service version. You can do that for all of them. So if I removed this, you can run the service version detection on every single port you hit, but it will take a long time, okay? So my suggestion is do your basic port scan first, find out which ones are actually open, and then do your service version detection on only the specified ones, okay? This way you're not wasting time and you're not looking at things that you don't care about, okay? Along with this, we can also look at the operating system of the target machine, or we can attempt to. So instead of doing a -SV, if we put a -O, Nmap will automatically attempt to deduce the operating system. So here it actually works. I'm not surprised because Metasploitable is meant to just be beaten up. And we can see here, oh, we're working with Linux. It tells us versions. It tells us all this kind of good stuff. Okay, now you can imagine how useful all this information would be going into a CTF or an engagement or just playing on try hack me, hack the box, all that kind of stuff. Look at this. We got operating systems. We scroll up. We got versions. This is already an amazing start. But let's get a little bit cooler, a little bit fancier. Let's move on to level 2. Okay, this is base level stuff. Let's clear the screen and move on to the next section. Now, before I tell you guys about saving results and having the output saved in like text files and cool stuff like that, I just want to bring attention to a very, very useful flag. Okay, so if we put 192.168.22.1.135, now when we do this scan, if we add a -V or a -VV, okay, these are our verbosity flags. So you saw when we ran the scan before, we hit and then it just kind of goes, right? Now this will not always be this ridiculously fast, okay? Especially when you're in a live network, especially when you're testing tons of machines at one time, it's not going to be like this. So adding -V or -VV, I like to do the both. It will give you kind of play-by-play. So you'll get a notification every time a port is discovered, all this kind of stuff. It'll tell you the time limits, all that kind of stuff, and it'll just keep you informed on the way down. So you can imagine instead of waiting there just seeing when it'll happen, you can get a play-by-play, okay? It'll be like, hey, I found a port just chilling. It's open. I found this port. I found this port. And then when it's done, it'll still give you the complete report just like it normally does, but this time with, you know, the reasoning. We'll get into reasons maybe in the advanced one when we talk about traceroute and packets and all that kind of stuff. But for now, just know that -V or -VV, very useful, okay? Very great. I love them both. Now let's clear the screen again and move on to saving results, okay? Saving results is crucial. And as you guys do more engagements and do more CTFs, all that kind of stuff, you're going to love the fact that you can save these things in little files, okay? Because imagine you have your, let's just run sudo nmap 192.168.22.135, okay? So you have that, you know, you can look at it now, it's all great, but what happens when you start typing? You got lines and lines and lines and lines and lines. Every time you want to look at those ports, you got to scroll back up. You got to be like, wow, okay, port 25 open, cool, let's get into that. And then when you type again, oh my goodness, you got to scroll back, up and forth, right? You don't want to do that. So let's clear the screen. There is a better way to do this, okay? First off, let me move to the correct directory. If I do cd home, clear the screen. Nmap has a couple different ways that you can save the output. So if we just put this back in there, now it'll always start with a -o, okay? If we add a capital N, it'll give us normal output, which is just a text file. If we do a capital G, it'll be greppable output, okay? Capital X will do XML output, and then capital A will do all output, okay? So if we do this nmap basics right now, it'll run, okay? Let's clear the screen so we can look at it better. ls, now we got some stuff there, okay? What are we looking at right now? So we did cat. Let's start with the nmap basics.nmap. This was our normal output, okay? So if you did a -on, it would just be a regular text file, okay? That's all it is. Now, if we did, instead of nmap, I think there was this one, the gnmap. So this is greppable format. It makes it really easy for you to do the pipe grep and then whatever you're looking for, okay? And then the last one, I believe, is just the XML. There you go. And then it's in XML format. So let's clear the screen because it's kind of ugly. All of those have their uses. All of those are very important. I think this was from just now when I made a mistake. But yeah, this is all the formats that you can do with Nmap. All of them have their uses. If you're doing scripts, then it's lovely. If you just prefer the way one looks, you prefer the way one functions, Nmap got you, okay? So that's saving output. Now, let's just get into a little bonus section that I wanted to talk about today, which is the Nmap scripting engine, okay? The Nmap scripting engine is a really cool part of Nmap, and it's incredibly deep, and I don't know enough about it to talk about it in depth in this video. Once I learn more, I'll let you guys know. But I've brought up this page just to help me talk about it. So the NSE, Nmap scripting engine, is a library of just scripts that can be run along with your scan. So they can help you authenticate things, they can help you discover more information, they can even try exploits for you, all that kind of stuff straight from Nmap, okay? So these are some of the categories. Like I was saying, we got brute force, auth, broadcast, discovery I was talking about, exploit, fuzzer, all that kind of stuff. It just goes on and on and on, okay? So I'm not going to tell you guys everything there is to know about the NSE, but I'll tell you guys how to use it. So let's put this off to the side for now. Clear. Let's get into the command. So like usual, sudo nmap, and then our target, I forgot what it was for a second, 168.22.135, okay? So this is our base. Now, if we want to run all of the default scripts, so Nmap has just a collection of default scripts, kind of like how it has the top 1000 ports, we can just run all default scripts with -S, capital C, okay? When you run this, I guess we can try it now, see how long it takes. When we do this, it'll run all default scripts against the target, and it'll just shoot out this massive line of output, okay? I forgot to mention earlier, at any time during this loading, if you hit spacebar or enter, it'll kind of give you a prompt to tell you how long is left. So we're almost done. We'll just wait it out, see what's going on. I'll fast forward the video for y'all. Okay, so there you go. As you guys probably saw in the super fast forwarded version, Nmap said 1 second was left for a long time. So you just be wary that sometimes the estimates are a little bit off. But see, look at the output in compared to what we had before. It tells you, oh, FTP, not only is it open, but there's also anonymous login allowed. And then it goes in a little bit deeper on everything else. SMTP, look at all this. We go scroll some more. Tells you what's going on, the HTTP title. We see some stuff over here, some RPC binds, some mounts, NFS, all that kind of stuff. So that's just from running default scripts, okay? You can get a little bit pickier. Now, if you ran the same command, but instead of SC, we do a double dash, the word scripts, and then any category. So we can pull up our Firefox from before. So say we knew, okay, we want to use all of the discovery scripts, okay? Then we can just put -- script and then discovery, okay? And it'll run all of the scripts from that category. So same could be said for any of the other categories. And then last but not least is specific scripts themselves. So instead of all default or just use this category, we can tell Nmap, I only want you to run this script or these scripts. So you can be like, oh, -- script, and then script 1, and then space script 2. Okay, obviously that's not their names. I don't have them memorized, but that's exactly what you can do. Okay, you just put as many scripts as you want to run directly with a space separated, and then Nmap will be like, all right, I got you. Okay, so that is using scripts directly. Now, what if we want to do all of that in a little bit of an easier way? Okay, that is what the aggressive scan is for. So if we did our I don't know why this is so far away. What the heck? Sudo nmap our target, okay, 135. Now that was a lot of options. So if we ended up doing that, it would be like, oh wow, we got this, we got maybe some scripts. It's just gonna be on and on and on. Okay, we can get a little bit cleaner with that using aggressive scan. -A, capital A is all you need, and this will automatically run -SV, -O, -SC, and also -- route, I believe, all in one command. So instead of putting those 4 options in, just put the capital A, and you're good. Okay, I'll run it. We're probably gonna have to speed it up just like last time, so I'll just wait a little bit, and I'll see you guys in a second. Okay, so see, it went in, it did the OS and service detection, as we said. You can see all the output from the different scripts. We can see the OS right here. We can also see that it still went in and got the versions right here, versions right here. This is all a little bit messy, okay? I apologize, but that's just how it is. There's a lot running on this vulnerable VM. There you go. And we can scroll all the way up to the top and see it continues like that all the way through. Now let's clear the screen. And that's all we got for today, guys. That is NMAP Basics. Okay, it's our introduction. It's our first tool talk on the channel. I hope you guys enjoyed. And yeah, if you like the video, maybe we'll make an intermediate, an advanced version. I'm going to cover some other tools, some other techniques. I got a whole lot of ideas for some videos. So if you guys made it this far, I appreciate you. Think about dropping a subscribe, tell some of the homies, and I'll see you in the next video, guys. Have a great day. I'll see you later.